agenda. There's no question that probably nobody in this country, with the exception of Barack Obama, is more qualified to be a Democratic Party nominee and president. But I'm not sure that's what we want or need anymore. So I can tell you right at the outset, this is going to be another Hillary Clinton moment. I can feel it coming. I feel it coming. Of course, it depends on the young people. If the young people will put some action behind their rhetoric and fucking vote in the primaries, then Biden will probably not be the nominee. But if they don't, if the young people talk the talk and will fucking not walk the walk, here we go again. Biden will wind up with the Democratic Party nominee. Trump will wind up on the Nazi Party nominee. And then what are you going to do? You're going to vote for Biden, knowing he's not a liberal. He's a corporate Democrat. He is very much in favor of the carbon industry, among other things. So what are you going to do when that comes up? Oh, well, fuck it. I'm not going to get my hands dirty. I'm just not going to vote. You going to do that again? Huh? Biden is 70 fucking 6. He'll be 78 when the election comes around. Okay, no big deal. He is offering himself as a level-headed leader in a country racked by Trump white supremacist conflict. And he believes that in offering himself as a rational, level-headed, experienced Democrat, he'll attract a cross-section of voters who otherwise might be a bit skeptical of his age and his so-called moderation in politics. I don't call that shit moderation. I really don't. A centrist Democrat. Well, moderation from what? What, you don't want to stop global warming dead in its tracks because it might disrupt the carbon fuel industry? Is that moderation? As one example. Ideological moderation. I'll tell you what, there's a whole generation out here, maybe two, who will not listen to that bull fuck shit again. They just won't. We've had enough of it. Oh, I'm not in that generation, but I certainly am behind the younger voters. What do I mean by younger voters? I don't know what. People from 18 to 45? How's that? He put out a 3.5-minute video today that laid out his reasons for running. And he decided not to talk about policy issues or his biography. Instead, he began by recalling the white supremacist march through Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017. And the orange bastard's comment after the young woman was murdered and people were shooting off guns. I don't mean people, I mean these creepy fucking slimy white supremacists. That's when Trump said, very fine people on both sides. Biden says on his announcement video, quote, in that moment, I knew the threat to our nation was like any I'd ever seen in my lifetime. Okay, that's true. But you know what? Not to be the skunk at the picnic, Joe, but you're partly responsible for that. Because the policies of the Democratic Party over the past 45 years have been fucking atrocious. Just horrible. To the extent that the coalition politics of the Democratic Party from the 50s and 60s and 70s and even 80s, 50s and 60s and 70s, no longer exist. Teachers and labor unions, factory workers, social workers, people of color, human rights activists. At one time, these people had a coalition, the Democratic Party, and while their overall objective was pretty solid, within the party, sure, there were arguments. Do we go this way? Do we go that way? But that doesn't exist anymore. And Joe Biden, I don't know if he realizes that. I wonder how soon it will be before we hear Biden's position on something familiar that Elizabeth Warren has brought up, like canceling, just fucking canceling student debt. That's madness. To have people out there paying off $1 trillion in student debt. What the fuck is wrong? I wonder how long it'll be before Biden takes on the issue of single-payer health care, which this country has got to have. We've got to have it if we're going to continue to, I almost said call ourselves civilized. We don't even do that anymore, do we? What about a tax structure that favors the workers with a marginal tax that wipes the fucking hell out of anything anybody in this country makes over, I'll be generous, $10 million a year. You make more than that, the rest of it goes to the government to fund all these social services. If you grungy motherfucker, can't live on $10 million a year, go suck a gas pipe. Go hang yourself. When Kennedy took over from Eisenhower, the top marginal tax rate was what? 90%. 90. And Kennedy cut it to what? 70? And everybody went, yay! I wonder how long it'll take Biden to get to those three key issues. Anything a President Biden would do, anything any Democrat will do, will be challenged by the Christian nutfucks in this country and the political fascists. It'll all be taken to the Supreme Court. Oops, guess what the Supreme Court is made up of now? Unless a couple of them get sick or something, you know, the right-wingers. Biden said in his announcement video, also he said this, quote, "We are in the battle for the soul of this nation." Oh, Joe, this nation doesn't have a soul. We're in a battle for the mind of this nation. This nation doesn't have a soul. Get fucking real. Come on. He went on, "I believe history will look back on 4 years of this president and all he embraces as an aberrant moment in time." Yeah, okay. But Joe, you helped get this fucker there. You were part of the Democratic machine that turned off so many people. Working class. Who the fuck voted for Trump? There are not that many neo-fascists in this country. Who voted for him, Joe? The working class white people who were fucking sick of being ignored. And black people. Well, black people didn't vote for him because black people are smarter than white people in that regard, and many more. The people who voted for Trump, to a large extent, were the same people who had voted for your running mate, Joe, hoping that Obama would turn things around for the working class. And Obama tried. But he was stymied every fucking minute by that filthy pig, Mitch McConnell. So, Joe, when you talk about an aberrant moment in time because of Trump, you're factually correct. But this didn't happen with Trump coming down that fucking escalator. It happened when he opened his mouth and started spewing this white supremacist neo-Nazi horseshit across the Rust Belt with the help of his buddies in Russia. And the formerly Democratic Caucasian working class voters listened to Trump and said, I'm fucking sick of Joe Biden. And people like you, Joe. So when you talk about the threat to our nation, unlike any you've seen in your lifetime, well, Joe, I'm your age. And I watched this shit develop too, just like you did. And my take on it, for some reason, Joe, is entirely different from yours, how Trump got into office. The Christian nutfucks who were so available to the Republican Party, starting with Reagan, and what did you do about it, Joe? You tried to make nice with them? Well, Trump has already identified you, Joe, as Sleepy Joe. That's Trump. That's the adulterous, piggish, ignorant, savage son of a bitch, Trump. You are now Sleepy Joe Biden. Trump tweeted, quote, I only hope you have the intelligence long in doubt. Trump talking about somebody else's intelligence being in doubt is, if I let it get to me like I was there for a while, I just want to scream and start fucking smashing shit, vases and dishes and it's insane for Trump to talk about somebody else's lack of intelligence. Anyway, Trump tweeted, I only hope you have the intelligence, long in doubt, to wage a successful primary campaign. It will be nasty. You will be dealing with people who truly have some very sick and demented ideas. Yeah, to Trump, the idea of everybody having health insurance is sick. The idea of trying to sustain the planet and life on the planet is demented. The idea of the working class having a chance is sick. The idea of people having liberty is demented to Trump. So, Joe, I'm not going to vote for you in the primary, buddy. No fucking way I'd vote for you in the primary. Because I'm tired. I am tired of the established Democratic Party. You all have had 3 or 4 generations to fuck things up. By your inactivity, by your ignoring working class Americans, by your labeling so many of us living in flyover states. Well, if you can turn that around, Joe, in a campaign, good fucking luck. I won't be voting for you in the primary, Joe. I'm going to try to ignore you. Come the general, if you're the nominee, I'll let you know. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.